The bottom is really cool though. I thought this was super sick. So to give you guys a rundown, this was shipped way later to me. So I did not know this was a 24-hour sale. It all sold out. Confusion on my part because I'm like, well, wasn't I supposed to stream this? Like, it was late. I did inquire, what do you want me to do? They told me just to have fun with the board. I was considering doing it like in 2 months. But then they messaged me this morning and said, hey, we wanted to confirm with you a round 2. So they did send me that message with the intention of like getting me to stream this ASAP for them. So I don't know when the round 2 is going to be. So if you guys are going to ask me what date specifically, beats me. I think they mentioned after CNY, sometime after that, beats me. I still think it's going to be the $450 price point. Perhaps. Again, I'm not 110% sure if the price is going to change for any weird reason, up or down. With that being said, we're still going to stream it. This is technically a sponsored stream. But let's take a look at all the pieces. So I haven't looked at the PCB yet. Oh, it's hot swap. I thought we were going to swatter. Oh yeah, the case has this really cool like thing on it. Handle with extreme care. Do not touch with exposed spinal nerve. Security level aquamorph. Authorized Baion. I can never pronounce. I've heard it 1,000 times on his video, but I've never pronounced his name right. Corporation, shareholders only. I've always been a big fan of his aesthetic with things. Thank you, Ree. I appreciate that, dude. Bit pricey, this thing. Yeah, it is a bit pricey. It's a cool PCB. Very, very interesting. Again, fits with the theme. So if you guys don't know, the theming for, I would even say the bias, which I have as well. I guess, I don't want to speak for Baion, but like the aesthetic of some of the artwork is very like, it feels to me like early 2000s inspired, you know? Like future early 2000s with a lot of like shading on some of the logos. But it's very cool. I've always been a big fan of it. I think it looks sweet. So this doesn't have a daughter board at all. It's USB-C. Even has like a little orange little USB-C thing here. That's kind of cool. Here's the plate for it. I did take this out already. The screws are in the dish. I don't know how the screws ended up doing this, but it's pretty cool. They kind of like all magnetized upwards. So here's the plate for it in case you guys want to see that. It's supposed to be this way. Here's the keyboard now. The keyboard's interesting. Here's the internals of it. Again, sorry, I was taking a lot of pictures of it before. It's cool. I like what they did with the screws. I like how they use those as eyes. You know, it has a very fun aesthetic to it. It does kind of have that like block. Well, it's a little bit of a thinner side bezel. Not obviously the most thin wall I've ever seen, but it's a classic looking like shape of a keyboard. And it's your standard box on wedge with a seam. In case you guys wanted to see the side profile. Pretty standard there. Nothing too crazy important about that. The bottom is really cool though. This I really enjoy. I thought this was super sick. Yeah, it's a 9-degree typing angle, I believe. I took lots of photos of this, so I'll share a lot of the photos I ended up taking, which this was really fun to photograph. If you guys are into that, I think someone said Y2K, and I think that's the perfect word for this. If you guys like that almost Y2K aesthetic, because that's what it gives me. It's like an edgy Y2K thing, but it is a very fun design profile. 17.5 front height? Really? It doesn't look like 17.5. It almost looks like 18 or 19. I guess it's close to 17.5. I kind of vibe with this pretty hard though myself. This is really, really fun. The other really cool thing about this is the Baion bolts. We've seen this a few times now, but we have the Baion bolts. So I think this is probably the best way possible to implement a, in quotations, visible screwless design. Basically what it does, instead of screwing down and then losing a screw and yada yada, it's annoying. The Baion bolts, so dubbed by Baion, screw in on an angle, allowing you to use bigger screws, and they just feel better. So I will show you what I mean with that. So they screw in on an angle like you guys see right over here. Here, I'll put it like in the middle. All right, so it makes putting them in really easy, opposed to, again, I don't have a good example right now, but opposed to doing this and then twisting this way. This makes it a whole hell of a lot simpler to put in those things. And then the other benefit from this, I'm gonna kind of nerd out about this one little thing here, is build experience wise, you don't have to worry about clipping anything or, yeah, same as duality. I think there's been like 2 or 3 boards we've had on the channel that have had that. It makes a lot more sense to have it like this. Screw this where you see the screw. So it's a big heaping wedge of aluminum. Then you can see how those little angled pieces fit in, which also helps with alignment to some degree as well. So it's really cool. I'm a little bit of a nerd when it comes to this kind of stuff. I like little quality of life things. I always have. It's been like my favorite thing ever in the keyboard hobby, is to have like quality of life. That's why I love the plate fork too. So, but I mean, like, that's pretty much all we need to disassemble. This build is not like by any means difficult. The hot swap PCB, more sicker. I didn't know I was getting a hot swap, but I'm still down to do it. There's a lot of options on the hot swap too. Pretty cool. It's a nice looking PCB. Gots to admit. All right, now, don't get mad at me. I ran a poll in stream if I was allowed to use Nixies for this. I didn't have anything else prepped, and I could not prep anything in time. All right, let's screw this into the top and get this assembled. This is a very, very simplistic build. Standard top mount, no daughter board. A little bit of a weight here on the bottom, big chunk of aluminum. Very cool looking keyboard. Ultimately, very, very cool looking. Here's the PCB assembly with some Nixies with orange films. There's no film on the spacebar one, by the way. You do need 2 different bits for this, unfortunately. Not everything's 1 bit. I don't know if that's gonna be changed. I don't have like a change list, so. I heard it sold out pretty quickly, but there's gonna be a round 2. Let me tell you guys, again, quality of life wise, it is so much better to screw in from this angle than it is to screw down and have to like worry about dropping the screw inside, all this other stuff. It's just, this is way less of a hassle. And the fact that it kind of acts as an alignment guide too, so much better this way here. Now, I don't know what keycaps to use. Thinking Evil Eye, you guys are right. Evil Eye is a sick pick for this. Let me go find where I put it. Looking good already? Yeah, this is a good call. Manoli is the GOAT. The one hyperlapse where it shifts to him smiling in your funniest moment in all your vids. Yeah, Manoli, if you guys don't know, Manoli edits a lot of my videos, and sometimes he'll sneak in some funny business. He used to do it a little bit more. I think he's slowed down a little bit of the sneaking in, but I should tell him to sneak in more funny stuff. All right, let's take a look at this board now. We are done building it. Here it is with Evil Eye. That looks pretty good with this set, not gonna lie. This set looks pretty darn nice. Yeah, it does look pretty nice. Here's the side profile. The ano looks really good on this. The ano, yeah, it does look flawless on this board. This looks sick to me. I love the aesthetic of this board. Again, I know I've mentioned it a few times. I like that even the orange USB-C over there. Although that doesn't look, it's kind of aligned. Doesn't look like the best alignment I've ever seen, but it should work. And we have this beautiful bottom piece. Yeah, this is a higher USB port. It makes sense though, because it's top mount and they didn't use a daughter board, so it's gonna be quite high sitting on the keyboard. So if that turns you off, then perhaps this is a pass, but I have a feeling this is gonna be pretty standard of a top mount sound profile. Alphas sound good already. All right, so these are Nixies lubed and filmed, spring swap to 62.5 gram springs, cherry clip-in stabs, perhaps, and GMK on aluminum plate. No, it sounds pretty good. Nice standard top mount. Let me tune up the stab a little bit, it's bothering me. Pretty standard top mount sound. Too much? I'm gonna be honest, this spacebar is very much my preference. Like when it comes to, okay. You like no ping? Well, me. No, I don't hear any ping. Okay, hold on. It's not so much a ping, but if you guys are wondering, it's probably just because it's standard of top mount in my opinion. There is a slight metallic resonance coming from the alphas. It's very, 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 very slight. I wouldn't say it's like in your face. Pretty standard of aluminum top mount in my opinion. If this was offered in a polycarbonate top mount, it would probably not, that sound would probably not even exist. As it is right now, like this does not sound bad though. I actually think this is quite nice. Where I'm gonna say this lands though, you'll get a good sounding keyboard of this for sure. I think this will be also very dependent on which switches you end up using. I don't think top mount boards work with every single switch possible. But I feel like this is in that category of if you like this design, then go for it. I can already tell you, this is nice and comfortable to type on. Nice front height, nice typing angle. So it's a little higher on the typing angle, but I still think it's totally fine. But I think if you were to pick this up with the idea of like you're buying the aesthetic first, and then you're not getting too much with internals here. It's a top mount. It does have those like Bion bolts, but you know, it's just a way to install things here. If I was in the market for a very fun looking TKL right now, this scratches a lot of like what I like like visually about a board. I think it's really cool. I think they did a really good job on the visuals. It's a top mount. There's not much to it. It's $450, and I think that's kind of where some people might be splitting some hairs there. The giant logo on the back is iffy. I don't know. I feel like that goes with the aesthetic, personally. I think this keyboard has so much character. Yes, I also do. I think it has a lot of character to it. It has some cool internals. It didn't slack on the externals. This is super neat too. I'll show you guys this a little closer. Like, it looks fun. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be for everyone, but I can definitely see that this would probably appeal to a large amount of people. It really speaks to the designer's love for Alien. It's super cool. They actually have more about the board. Like there's like lore of the board they created as well, which was like a fun read for me this morning. And there's also some music that Bion made too, because that's there was a CD that was included with the bias. I think they opted to not include this CD this time around. I don't know why that is. Would have been cool to have the CD with the music, but they created music just for the keyboard as well. So it's a fun experience. And I don't know, if you're into that kind of stuff, I think you'll enjoy kind of like the thing around this. Kezewa is the one manufacturing this board this time around, and Kezewa's done some pretty good stuff. So you don't really have to worry too much about that. At least they haven't made any boo-boos yet, from what I've seen. But they've done some pretty good jobs and some other stuff there, and I don't think this is an exception. Yeah, could be this. Also could be a turnoff for some people how high this sits, because technically if we were to flip this over, you can see how high that sits in the keyboard here. So this might be a turnoff for some people. Not really a big deal to me, but to some people it might be. I have it on pounds right now. Oh, I was right the first time. About 5 pounds, 7 ounces. And then in rest of the world units, 2.4 kilos. I had a feeling. I went lighter because I'm like, usually I overguess, so maybe I was overguessing there. So love you guys. See you guys in Discord too. Peace out, everybody. Bye-bye. No, it sounds pretty good.